Hello everybody, it's Shockness 1000 and Pony for Tuesday. Welcoming you back to more Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Last time we started off the Elite Four battle once again, but only managed to battle Lorelei and Bruno. Because obviously I wanted to end things off quickly due to the fact that when you battle Agatha, she obviously, well, will take a long time. But this time, we are going to be battling hopefully the last remaining trainers in the game. Starting off with Agatha, she'll use Arbok, level 63, Poison type with the moves Glare, Crunch, Poison Jab, and Earthquake. And I realized when I was battling Lorelei, when I was battling her Lapras, I thought she knocked me out with a critical hit. I was actually wrong. She just hit me with a Dragon Pulse, put me down to a third of my health, and then I selected Thunder Punch again as I walked away. She survived the Thunder Punch, used another Dragon Balls, and knocked me out. Of course, you guys already saw it, but I didn't. Until just recently. So, that was a mistake on my behalf. I mean, I haven't actually marked it off as a critical hit, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyway, of course, her whole entire team is still technically weak to ground, so if you want to use an entire ground-based team, you can do that. So obviously that's Arbok already done, and I don't think I mentioned his moveset. I think it's Glare, Crunch, Poison Jab, and Earthquake. If I didn't mention it. If I already did, then I already did. Her next Pokemon is Weezing, level 63, playing Poison type with the moves Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, and Thunder. Definitely making a difference with this team. Thankfully we avoided that Thunder because that would have finished off Gyarados. And since I know that Weezing is faster... Oh! We were paralyzed, that's why. God's sake! Right, Weezing survived the Earthquake again. Missed Thunder a second time, yes! Oh, wow, that has never felt so sweeter. Weezing is knocked out and we're already a third of the way there to beating Agatha. Now for her next Pokemon. Marowak. A Lowland style, yeah. You're noticing a trend here with these Elite Four members. They've added one new member to their team, and every single one of them has been a Pokemon that has an Alola form. We had Lorelei use Alolan Sandslash, and we had Bruno use an Alolan Golem. Agatha here is using Alolan Marowak, which is a Fire Ghost type level 63 with the moves Flare Blitz, Boomerang, Shadow Ball, and Rock Slide. And immediately, this Marowak is going to get knocked out. Thank you. Now for member number 4. One of her 2 Gengars. We're obviously going to send out Nidoqueen for this one, because I think Gyarados has been battling for a long time now. I believe this Gengar is going to be level 63. Okay, good. Level 63, Ghost Poison type with the moves Sucker Punch, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Ball, and Sludge Bomb. This Gengar immediately... we're going to have to... Oh, I was meant to select Earthquake. Alright, never mind. I mean, we'll weaken it first. It might survive the Earthquake, actually. And I do repeat, might. I'm not saying for definite they will. Okay, now that we've weakened them, we'll then use Earthquake, and then have ourselves get burned with the Will-O-Wisp. Okay. Okay, if you want to play that way, we'll play that way. Your Gengar's still knocked out, so... yeah. What are you going to do now? Oh, critical hit! Nice! Okay, Golbat is your next Pokemon. I think we'll use Charizard for this one. Golbat, in case you're wondering, is level 63, Poison Flying type with the moves Air Slash, Crunch, Leech Life, and Quick Attack. And you're probably thinking Leech Life is going to be 20 power, 100 accuracy in this game. Honestly, it's not. It's actually going to be base power of 80, only in Gen 7, believe it or not. Anyway, are you guys looking forward to the 15th of November for Pokemon Sword and Shield to be released? Because I certainly am. I really can't wait for the game to be released. I mean, having a Pokemon game where the region is based in the United Kingdom is so good. I just don't like the fact that people keep complaining about the game, making it sound like it's a terrible game. And I'm not saying it's a terrible game because it's based on our kingdom. They're saying it's terrible because of the whole Pokédex business. But really, are you really going to be keeping like over 900 Pokemon in your PC, not having them be used for anything? Because I tell you what, in my Pokemon Omega Ruby game, I have boxes full of Pokemon. Some of them are actually exactly the same as one another. Because I got like 4 Garchomps, where one Garchomp is used in a Mega, one used as a ground member, and one used as a dragon member, and one used as a, well, aggressive Pokemon. And I don't know why I brought out Daisy Duck against her final Gengar, which is level 64, Ghost Poison type, with the moves Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, and Sludge Bomb. So again, I have no idea why I brought Farfetch out. Oh dear. I guess that was me not thinking straight. Right. Charizard, let's bring you back out. But yeah, I have too many of the same Pokemon in the PC boxes in my Omega Ruby game. And I very, very rarely use them because I'm always thinking of teams in a competitive format that I think might go well together. And I'm just basically experimenting in a way. So that way you kind of get the whole plot twist of what I'm trying to do. Like, say, for instance, I'm wanting to put together a Scyther who is working together with a... oh, God. Well, it's kind of hard to describe it, I will admit. It's very hard to describe. But you see my point with this. It's like, say, I'm wanting to use Mega Charizard Y, who is still a Fire Flying type, but you're dealing with a Rock type Pokemon, and you want to use a Pokemon that can beat the Rock types, and immediately you think either Grass type, Ground type, Fighting type, Steel type, or Water type. And immediately, the very first thing that comes into my head is Water type. So I'll be using a Pokemon like Poliwrath or Seadra or whatever. So I'm basically mix matching with Pokemon that I don't very usually use in a team. Which is the reason why this team exists, of me using a Scyther and a Farfetch. Because many people often don't choose Scyther and Farfetch to be a member of their Let's Play team. But I think it's probably because they either want to use a Pokemon that they think is better in their personal opinion, or they just think Scyther and Farfetch might be too weak of a Pokemon to use in the game, so they want to use Pokemon that might be able to look after themselves. So that's kind of the whole reasoning with why I'm using Farfetch and Scyther, to prove them wrong that they can be used properly as a good team member, providing that you know exactly how to do them. Okay? Now, onwards to Lance. And of course I'm gonna like switch my party around because of course we've been using Gyarados a bunch. I think it's only fair we start off with Farfetch this time. I'm glad you've come. The newly updated Pokemon League's reputation has already taken off. It's all thanks to you. I'd feel ashamed to call myself Lance the Dragon Trainer if I didn't challenge you to a battle. Yeah, that's kind of true in a way. So, Lance, which Pokemon do you think he got for his team to go along with his dragon-esque Pokemon? He obviously starts off with Seadra, playing Water type, level 64, with the moves Hydro Pump, Dragon Pulse, Blizzard, and Hyper Beam. So immediately I kind of made a big mistake here, but I was hoping for Farfetch to move faster, so that way I could hit with a slash. But at the moment, Farfetch has just been like, hi, bye, and just done immediately. Which I think is upsetting for Farfetch, really. Right then, let's use Crunch. Right, that's mail being sent through the letterbox. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Right, we'll keep using the Crunches. Oh, he got a critical hit. Okay. And we got the physical defense drop. Nice. Oh. Nearly put that down under a critical hit then. Oh, there's the Hyper Beam. Okay, Gyarados is alright. And this one would definitely knock out the Seadra. There we go. That's one down for him. One down for us. His next Pokemon, of course, as you remember, is Aerodactyl, level 64, Rock Flying type, with the moves Rock Slide, Crunch, Hyper Beam, and Earthquake. I'm definitely not going to be faster than his Aerodactyl. But I was hoping for him to miss with Rock Slide, but unfortunately he hit. Which is unfortunate. We'll send out Nidoqueen here. May not be a good idea, considering it does have Earthquake in his moveset, but we've got to do something. But we use Thunderbolt. Critical hit, nice. And yeah, we missed with Earthquake. Thanks to the affection thing. Aerodactyl's still not out. But this next hit will definitely... 2 times in a row! Wow! I mean, Earthquake is 100% accuracy, so it shouldn't really miss. And the affection thing triggered off twice in a row. Dang. Okay, his next Pokemon. This is the new Pokemon that he's got for his team. And I'm going to send out Evelyn for this one. And this one sort of can be a pushover if you have an Ice-type move in your moveset. Otherwise, you're going to have to knock him out the old-fashioned way. Alolan Executor. Grass Dragon type, level 64 with the moves Psychic, Hyper Beam, Mega Drain, and Dragon Pulse. Alolan Exeggutor, you might be questioning why the hell does he look like that? All things will be explained when you play Pokemon Gen 7. That's all I can say. In the actual Gen 7 game, not like a game that's basically remade for Gen 1, if you kind of get my drift. Okay, next up we'll use a Sparkly Swirl, because that's going to be super effective as well. I'm not really at all remembrance of the base stats for Alolan Exeggutor, because I've never actually used one before. So just bear that in mind. And there we go, Alolan Exeggutor is down. It is actually finding it hard to like fit his whole sprite in there. Right, we got Gyarados next. There we go. Gyarados is level 64, Water Flying type with the move Waterfall, Iron Tail, Hyper Beam, and Crunch. I'm going to set up a Mega X, and we're going to Thunder Punch him in the face. Didn't knock him out, but next attack we definitely will. There we go. And now for his next Pokemon. Exactly who I thought he was going to bring up. Dragonite, level 65, Dragon Flying type with the moves Outrage, Fire Punch, Iron Tail, and Hyper Beam. Sorry, I think he said Earthquake then, but that's not really right. So yeah, Outrage, Fire Punch, Hyper Beam, and Iron Tail. And yeah, Thunder Punch is not going to be super effective against Dragonite because it is super effective against flying types, but it's not very effective against dragon types. So it's just going to be doing neutral damage. So we're just going to be using as much damage as we can. Fortunately, Charizard couldn't take it. So now we're going to send out Eevee, since Cypher is not going to last one Outrage from that Dragonite. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a Sizzly Slide to burn it. So that way that Outrage would do less damage than what it would normally do. Okay, he's got one more Outrage in his moveset before he gets confused. So I'm going to take this time to heal up Evelyn. Okay, there we go. He's now confused. And we will then use a Double Edge. Ah, he thought through the confusion. And he's... really? Alright. Sparkly Swirl, knockout it is. There we go. His last Pokemon, as you remember, is going to be Charizard, level 64, Fire Flying type, with the moves Flare Blitz, Dragon Balls, Hyper Beam, and Thunder Punch. But the fact is, this Charizard is actually going to be a Mega. Which Mega is it going to be? You'll find out. Alright, let's use Earthquake. Yep, Mega Charizard X. Fire Dragon type. And we successfully avoided the Dragon Pulse and hit with Earthquake. So next Earthquake will knock out that Charizard and we'll be able to go through to the Champions Room, which we will be tackling in the next episode, guys. So next time on Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, we will be tackling the champion. Even though we're the champion, but we're going to be in the Champions Room anyway, okay? See you guys then.